It's just the latest twist in the reciprocal tariffs announced by President Trump with great fanfare on April 2nd. The three-judge panel ruled that Trump overstepped his powers granted by the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, after signing an executive order invoking its authority to address the country's trade deficits as an unusual and extraordinary threat to national security and the economy of the United States. The court said Trump's executive order exceeded any authority granted the president to regulate imports by means of tariffs. The court also ruled that the trade deficit issue did not meet the law's requirement that an emergency be triggered only by an unusual and extraordinary threat, which in the court's view, the trade deficits did not represent.
Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Tariffs, or the threat thereof, have been a signature economic and political tool of the Trump administration.
Big part of his electoral campaign based on tariffs, and he did introduce tariffs. Now tariffs were overruled, and I suspect that politically he can now blame the court for the failure of this policy. So I am not sure whether it will be a major blow to his political standing and to his support. It is very hard to predict what will happen and what happens if, for example, the administration chooses not to comply with the ruling of the court. We have seen tension between court rulings and the current administration in the past. So it is, again, uncharted waters, very hard to tell what is happening, but at least this round, the administration and Donald Trump did not win.
The court's ruling effectively blocks the imposition of 30% tariffs on China and 25% tariffs on certain goods from Mexico and Canada, and the 10% universal tariff imposed on most countries around the world, including South Africa. The Department of Justice has already indicated its intention to appeal the ruling.
It's an opportunity to, end the trade war that is ongoing with the US and China and EU and so on. On the other hand, the courts interfering in the process can be provocative to President Trump. As much as I don't like tariffs and want to see them gone, the sort of legal interference in the elected, president of the day, I think can backfire. So I'm a little bit worried about it, even though, obviously I'd prefer there not to be tariffs.
President Trump also used the IEEPA to impose duties on goods from Mexico, Canada and China over allegations of fentanyl cross-border smuggling, but the court found that there was no link between efforts to cut international drug trafficking and charging duties on legal imports.
It definitely creates some certainty in the future, and industries and countries that were not subject to tariffs or not subject to high tariffs, they can sleep a little bit better tonight, and markets, they do react negatively when uncertainty increases and vice versa. So from this point of view, maybe it is not only about the economic effect of tariffs, but it is also about the rules that the US and the rest of the world are playing are established more firmly. We have more understanding of what to expect from tomorrow.
China, that has been engaged in a damaging trade war with the United States, urged Washington to heed rational voices of the international community and abolish its unilateral tariffs.
On the issue of tariffs, China has made clear its position many times. There are no winners in tariff wars or trade wars. Pursuing protectionism and damaging the interests of all parties will ultimately be unpopular.
The three judges on the panel appointed by Presidents Reagan, Obama and Trump. The White House has expressed confidence that it would prevail on appeal. While the markets were buoyed by the court's ruling, a White House spokesperson said the trade deficits that countries had with the United States created a national emergency that had decimated American communities, left workers behind, and weakened the country's defense industrial base. Facts, it said, the court did not dispute. The statement said it was not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. The court also ruled that the Trump administration must issue new orders reflecting the permanent injunction within 10 days. Sherwin Briceby's SABC News, New York.